when analyzing, you know, Godly versus Luna, etc., I like to believe that the reason Godly is the best in EU is because he has a lot of friends from NA, so his playstyle has combined NA with EU, and he's one of the only players that has been able to do this. Loris, on the other hand, being a very stylistic player, they're both on Spear. We're going to be on Miami Dome. So far, it's even, and we're going to have to wait and see who's going to come out on top for this one.
But Godly is the one that is occupying the stage with the Spear. Going to be looking for that down. Loyalist coming back up with that neutral and into the recovery as well. Godly using that side toss of the Spear just to be able to create a bit of an opening for himself. And right now, you know, I gotta say, Loyalist is keeping this as even as possible. What a good dodge upwards to be able to avoid whatever Loyalist was cooking out there. One more ground pound. Yo, that ground pound was kind of sick, right? He was so non-committal. But Loyalist, this entire battle has been like off stage this whole time.
Yeah, it is a very high-intensity battle so far. I am actually surprised we didn't see a KO just yet, but there it is. Loris getting that Sair off the left side with the sword, going to be sticking to the sword, actually. I would expect them to stick on that spear, considering how competitively and how even they kept it. But Loris now maybe wanting to spawn with the spear next stock.
Right now, Godly is just trying to occupy the stage, looking for any way to close out the stock. Okay, with Sword off stage, you can basically flowchart this at any point. Yeah, that's right. You just position yourself, you can react. Hey, are you going to the stage? Okay, I'm going to down it. Are you going to go above the stage? Okay, I'm going to sail you. So Godly was just like, you've run out of options. I can flowchart this.
Oh my lord. Nice nairs coming out from Godly, keeping him so far up. GCNC coming in as well. Tried to go for that ground pound. That would have been massive.
Such a tragedy of that angle.
Yeah.
Any other NSIG, that would have sent you off the top, but it's the ones that send you back down that's like, okay, we're making sure that you're not getting out of this easy.
Like seeing those ground pounds really deep off stage and just the call out ground pounds, they are so hype. And still, Loris is able to not even it out because he is going to get knocked out, but Godly is going to be running away with the lead here.
2 words: positional pressure. Godly jumped out there, immediately jumped back on. By the time Loyalist saw Godly jump at him, he was like, okay, I need to immediately recover. Not anticipating Godly was going to go for such a non-committal option. He was able to bait it out, he was able to punish it, and now all of a sudden Godly has made this game into a lead for himself. Loyalist, though, getting a couple of spear combos, but Godly, classic. Such a good direction to dodge with on downlight, right?
And the funny angle with the nair as well, keeping Loris down low, that is going to allow Godly to continue that edge guard. No, nothing massive coming out, but it's things like these that is allowing Godly to always cling on to an advantage state and keep that lead. Loris is going to be able to find that KO though. On orange, this is still extremely doable for Loris.
Yes, staying in the game, especially with Spear, such a nice weapon to have in any situation. Goddamn, Spear is so good. Just going to be waiting a little bit. Both of them slowing down the pace of the game. We're back to neutral. They're jumping in. They're not committing until Loris whiffs that down and going to be giving Godly an excellent opening to find the neutral light.
Now Loris all the way down in red. Godly only needing a couple of hits to find this KO. Looking for a D-light, anything at this point, but Loris is keeping him in the air. There's so little that he can do. Finding the end light though, this is the start of the edge guard. Recovery to defend himself while he's going back up, but that should be the KO. And Godly is going to be grabbing this first game of the best of 5. All in all, extremely even game, and I saw them actually, we can see right here, they're both just spamming past the stat screen. They just want to play immediately. We are not going to be swapping ledges. We're not really going to be reconsidering anything. They just want to play Brawlhalla right now.
Yeah, for sure. And I've got to say, both of them are indeed playing. I got to say this. So in the beginning, yes, we saw like Loyalist get like maybe a bit of an early stock because like his recovery ended up getting baited out. I've got to say, he has made like a lot of really good adjustments to how he's spacing and treating recovery. I love how Loyalist juggles. I love how he's distance checking always. Like, how far am I away from you? Do I extend or do I drop back down and reset? Juggling is surprisingly like a really intricate game state with like baiting, movement baiting, and Loyalist has been so effective at it thus far. Going out there for another down and you're not going to be able to find it yet, and already dealing just so much damage.
Absolutely, still quite even out. Loris is going to be able to find that side light. Godly quickly turning it around though. Nice aerials coming out from Loris, making super good use of the aerial kit that Spear has. But Godly, whenever Godly has ground under his feet, he is able to absolutely dominate that stage control. It is the anti-air where Loris dominates. It's with finding those landings, and that is what's going to allow him to get that first KO.
Yeah, and first KO in pretty confident fashion, only in the burnt orange. Going to be red soon though. Godly looking for any way to close, especially with Spear. Do you smell it, Polly? Do you smell that downlight?
No, I do not smell it just yet. I'm smelling maybe a Sair That's usually what Godly uses to try and knock out. But of course, if you're off stage, that is going to be the dare to take all of those options off. Now 2 stocks to 2 stocks. Godly is on orange, but this is a lead that he can diminish if he manages to get some good combos. Loris though starting things off with an advantage off stage. Gonna be trying to keep it going now. 1 dare is all he needs, but he's not going to be connecting it, so he has to cover up himself with a side Sega, no problem.
Taking only 1 hit throughout that entire interaction, Loris went from a lead to a confident lead at this point. That entire offstage sequence was played beautifully. Look at this juggling. 1 spear gone, 2nd spear grabbed, and still able to consistently deny Godly of a weapon, getting a couple of more hits in. Loris is playing efficiently. Neutralite not rushing in to find an immediate follow-up just in case Godly mashes out of disadvantage.
Many N-lights coming out. Godly trying to poke out Loris here onto the side. Nice there as well. Godly trying to get anything, but Loris again with those anti-air moves, giving Godly a really hard time. Godly's going to be able to find that read though. If he's able to get this stock here, it's definitely still doable.
Jumping, waiting, and beautiful use of the movement. Loris able to find that cell, able to get Godly all the way off stage. That's 1 recovery, not enough to actually get that KO. Such a nice non-committal neutral as well. Loris faded back, made it as safe as possible on whiff. That's another recovery. He's playing so good.
GC could have been the punish onto Godly for the KO, but that is not going to be the KO just yet either. D-Sig catching the dodge, going through it. That is going to be the stock, and now it is still doable for Godly. The 2-0 dream is possible, but Loris only needs a couple of hits. He's going to knock Godly off stage, and that's going to make matters even worse for him right now.
Sword is such a good weapon here. This brings the consistency to KO that you need, because you can catch jumps with that recovery. You can catch dash-ins and poor dodges with that downlight as well. Sword is such a good clutch late game weapon, and I gotta say Loris made beautiful use of it there, and all of a sudden it is game 3, 1 game apiece. This is a lot more even than I thought it would be going into this.
Yeah, this is definitely very even right now. As I said, the SA dream is very much alive. The EU dream is very much alive in this game. And I couldn't see the screens there during the camera shot, but I would like to imagine Godly is going to take his sweet time now. Godly's going to take his sweet time considering what legend he wants to play, because Godly is a player that can play a lot of different legends as well as Loris. Both of them can reconsider their strategy. Loris already one of those, so I would like to believe that he's going to stick to that Hattori. Godly, on the other hand, look at that face. I feel like that face is about to pull out the pocket pick. And there it is. The Asuri again, Dara.
The Asuri again, and Loris just going to be sticking with the tried and true, whatever was like functional last time. Now with Spear in hand yet again. Coming back on with the recovery. Neutrally a little bit too far to the left. Ends up whiffing it overall. Both of them just scrapping damage is just about as even as it could be. They're both playing really, really well. But now Godly has some adaptations to make. How does Loris keep calling out all of these jumps? Ooh, Katars. That's such a good weapon choice. You have now the ability to jump in a little bit more, especially with tools like Down.
Now again, keep in mind, not only did Godly swap from Spear to Katars, he swapped from a high-speed legend to, I don't actually know how much speed Asuri has, but I'm pretty, like, Hattori has one of the highest stats in the game, so it for sure has to be less. Gonna be able to find that KO though with the weapon throw. I would like to believe that Godly's gonna stick to the Katars here, because all of yesterday we saw Godly favor the Katars so heavily, but in that first stock, Godly was able to take down the stock regardless with the sword in hand.
Yeah, and you have no reason not to favor the Katars here, because this is how you actually find these openings. Great. Now looking for the Neutralite. Not able to find that Neutralite, which just looked like he was supposed to call out a jump. Has Loris off stage. Finally the recovery. That was so scary for a second. Katars, as soon as you get that one down, you can take them all the way to the bottom blast zone.
Okay, weapon throw coming out, now going to be connecting, still on those Katars. Massive potential to get a damage lead here, but Loris is so close to finding that KO. All he needs is 1 D-Light. We're seeing a lot of waiting. Ladies and gentlemen, this is top 32 winner's side BCX. We're going to be seeing a lot of this.
Yeah, Godly right now just patrolling back and forth a little bit, slowing down the pace of the game. You talked about this. You talked about how Godly's going to slow this down and has a very gentle lead for himself. That's going to be the pickup though. Loris keeping the stocks even, keeping his head in the game. Dude, look how composed they are. They're just sitting still.
Sitting completely still so far. Godly picking up those Katars, starting an off-stage encounter here, and the ground pound weapon throw is going to find a beautiful KO onto Loris, putting him in a full stock lead here, Dara.
Yeah, that was excellent. Loris had only 1 place to go, and that was up. But if you know somebody's going up, you can A, come down with a ground pound, B, toss a weapon down. As soon as your recovery becomes telegraphed, it's all about the execution test on the other opponent. But the recovery, the second one, just still active enough to be able to clip Godly there, to be able to get another hit in. This is a much more slow-paced game than all of the other ones that we've seen.
Absolutely. D-Light recovery coming out. Loris evening this out further and further. Godly having a hard time keeping up with those Qatars. Still, pretty good lead for Godly coming out here.
Just occupying center stage, playing slow. And you have no reason to be aggressive at this point. Coming in with that side light, big opening. Coming back on, and Godly with the preemptive recovery to catch Lotus, jumping back on. Really good movement there, and doesn't get that the bounce down into the cell.
Godly going for that. Godly going for a read there. Now sidelining him out. Getting that NSIG, and that's going to be the KO. Crazy option coming out from Godly. 2 games to 1 now, keeping the lead. This is match point for Godly. Loris is going to need to win 2 games in a row here. Maybe this is when we see a legend swap coming out from Loris.
Yeah, I want to see a replay on that last stock. Specifically, I want to just take a look at the damage and just like see how much damage is actually on Loris. Because if I am not mistaken, I think he was just outside of the range for a down tilt, or down light, excuse me, into recovery to properly KO. I think that was the only option that could have KO'd, or maybe it was also just like, hey, style, flashy, funny sig move, haha. So going into the next game, Godly is up 2-1. This is really big, and going out there for the ground pound,
that could have been a start of something massive. But Godly not able to find anything, taking Loris all the way down to orange already. What is happening? This is a completely different Godly, and he's going to be able to find that KO in 20 seconds time.
He's just progressing. He's adapting. He's becoming more aggressive off stage. He's catching Loris's linear recoveries. This is where the battle will be decided. And you see Godly not giving it up. You see Godly knowing, hey, this is my optimal position to be in. I'm going to recycle the situation as often as possible.
Oh my
Good
Lord.
weight on the dodge. Wow.
That end light looking magnetic. Like Godly knew he didn't need to move because Loris would be back in spot. Like that was a movement read, Adara.
He was so confident sitting there.
That end light
it wasn't
was
even
crazy.
A movement read. It was also confident that Loris wouldn't come down aggressively with like a down or anything. That was really surprising. Godly's just planting his feet down and just catching all of these anti-airs over and over again. Loris over-committing off stage. But oh, speaking of over-commitments, Godly slashing a little bit too much.
Loris now finally getting a good couple of hits, and now finally off stage as well, being able to get something on the sword. That could have been crazy. Loris going for a second one. It's not going to connect though. Godly still staying on top. Loris not able to find that KO. That could have been massive, but unfortunately 2 missed ground pounds. That is very unfortunate for Loris.
Yeah, the solid ground pound is just so subtle. The hitbox horizontally is not nearly as generous as you'd think it would be, and a lot of players can just slip in between the sides, specifically between the sword and the stage itself. Godly trying to do the same thing again. You talk about like that sort of, you know, magnetic feel, but what happens if you attract a big sword coming your way? Oh my god, I thought I saw the ground pound.
And that is going to be the dare coming out. Godly staying under the stage to avoid that dare, and he's going to be able to reverse the situation and knock Loris out. This is looking difficult for Loris, but if anyone can turn something like this around, it's going to be Loris. But Godly's going to get another massive string and another one right after that. This is Loris going all the way down to red, and that is going to be the 3-stock to put this set to an end. 3-1 with Godly coming out.
Yo, Qataris? What? Are you good, Godly? Are you good? He was bad. He played bad. That was such an excellent last stock. And honestly, if you think about it, a weapon like Qataris requires what? You need like a lot of situational awareness in a moment to know like what kind of follow-up your opponent's going for, so that you can go with like a really smart dodge. As the game goes on, when you have such a massive lead, dude, sometimes you just like dodge back into it. This entire string from Godly, this coverage was actually phenomenal. I mean, look at it. It speaks for itself.
I would like to think that Godly is this Mega Mind 2000 IQ master. Do you think that Godly maybe picked up on a lot of things he could read from Loris and just didn't show his cards yet, and then whipped out all of the tricks for that last game?
No. That's exactly what you need to do. As a player, you need to know, okay, I have this lead. Look at that graph.
Look at that graph.
Look what happened. Look at the last stocks. Look at this. Not a single stock was taken off of Godly. But Polly, I do love the fact that you bring that up. As a competitor, it's super important to think about the micro, what is happening directly in front of you. Macro, what are habits that your opponent has? What are some general things that they're often going for? Ultimately, Godly had a couple of really specific reads on the movement that was like, okay, I'm going to take game 1. I'm going to take game 2. This is where I take my notes. This is where I write them down. And then made a mental note of it. It's like, okay, I'm up 2-1. I feel confident enough in the reads that I've made about your movement, about your positioning.